Have you ever walked into a room, stood there for a few seconds, and thought, "Now what was I here for?" Maybe you've misplaced your glasses, only to find them right on your head, or you've blanked out on a familiar name that was just on the tip of your tongue. Sound familiar? If it does, you're not alone. And more importantly, it doesn't mean you're losing your mind. Let's be honest, growing older comes with a few surprises. Some are lovely, like finally having the time to enjoy a quiet morning, travel at your own pace, or watch your grandkids grow. But others, not so much. Forgetfulness, for example, can sneak in and make you question what's normal and what's not. And here's the thing. There are a lot of myths floating around about memory loss. Some of them are so common, people just accept them as fact. But believing those myths can actually make things worse. They can cause unnecessary fear, lower your confidence, and even keep you from doing the things that would actually help your memory stay sharp. That's why we're having this conversation today, because understanding the truth about memory, what's normal, what's not, and what you can do makes all the difference. And no, this isn't just about brain games and crossword puzzles. We're going deeper. So let's start by busting the first big myth. A lot of people believe that memory loss is just a natural, unavoidable part of aging, that it's something that happens to everyone, like gray hair or wrinkles. But here's the truth. While some small changes in memory might happen with age, serious memory loss is not something you have to just accept. It's not inevitable. In fact, many people stay mentally sharp well into their 80s and 90s. The key is understanding the difference between what's normal and what's not. Misplacing your keys once in a while? Normal. Struggling to follow a conversation in a noisy room? Also pretty normal, but forgetting the purpose of everyday objects, like not recognizing what your keys are for, that's different. That might need a closer look. You see, your brain is a lot like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it stays. And just like muscles, if you don't use certain parts of your mind, like memory, attention, focus, they can start to feel a little rusty. But rust isn't the same thing as rot. The brain can be re-engaged, retrained, and refreshed, even in your 70s, 80s, and beyond. So don't let the "everyone loses memory when they're old" idea take up space in your head. It's simply not true. Now let's talk about the second myth, one that's equally harmful, but in a sneakier way. It's the belief that if you do start forgetting things, there's nothing you can do about it, that once it starts, you're on a downhill slide. This idea can make people feel helpless. And when you feel helpless, what do? Usually, nothing. You stop trying. You might withdraw from conversations, avoid reading new things, or stop challenging yourself with new tasks. And that, ironically, is what actually hurts your memory even more. Your brain thrives on stimulation. That doesn't mean you have to go back to school or start learning a new language, unless you want to, of course. But it does mean giving your brain something fresh to chew on. Simple things like trying a new recipe, picking up a hobby you've never tried before, or even taking a new route during your daily walk. Variety keeps the mind awake, and when the brain is active, it continues forming new pathways, something scientists call neuroplasticity. It means your brain can keep adapting even as you age. Yes, even now. There was a study not long ago where older adults were asked to learn photography and computer skills, something totally new for most of them. Guess what happened? After just a few months, their memory improved significantly. Not because of magic, not because they were special, but because they challenged their brains and created new connections. So the idea that memory loss is permanent and unstoppable, let's toss that out right now. The real danger isn't forgetting a few names or dates. The real danger is giving up on your brain, and you are way too wise and experienced to do that. Now, let's take a moment to check in with how all this feels. Maybe you've been worrying more than usual about your memory lately. Maybe someone even made a comment that stuck with you, something like, "You're starting to get forgetful, huh?" And you carried that around like a weight. I get it. Words can be heavy, but you don't have to hold on to that. You can choose what you believe, and right now, you can start believing in your ability to strengthen your memory, just like you've strengthened so many other parts of your life over the years. If you've raised a family, built a career, overcome losses, or adapted to change, you've already proved how resilient and capable you are. So, why would this be any different? Your brain isn't your enemy, it's your lifelong partner, and like any partner, it sometimes needs. So now that we've cleared up a couple of those big misunderstandings, like the idea that memory loss is just a normal part of aging or that nothing can be done once it starts, let's keep going. Because the next myth is one I hear all the time, and it's a sneaky one. It sounds innocent, even comforting, but believing it can do more harm than good. It's the belief that forgetting things just means you're distracted, or tired, or just not a details person. While that can sometimes be true, of course, we all get distracted. It can also be a way of brushing off signs that your brain might need a little more attention and care. Let me explain what I mean. You see, your memory isn't just about storing facts. It's about how well your brain processes information, stores it, and then retrieves it when you need it. If you're constantly multitasking, maybe watching the news while checking your phone and trying to remember your grocery list, your brain doesn't actually register things clearly. It's like trying to pour water into a glass that's already full. There's no room, so it spills out. So yes, distraction plays a role, but that's not an excuse to ignore it. The real issue here is that we've gotten used to being busy, even in retirement. Constant background noise, mental clutter, and a schedule filled with tasks can leave your brain foggy. It's not that you're just not good with details. It might be that your brain is waving a little flag, asking for some peace and focus. And here's the good news. This is fixable. You can train your brain to pay better attention, which leads to stronger memory. Try this. When you meet someone new or hear a new fact, take a moment to repeat it out loud or visualize it in your mind. Maybe even connect it to something familiar. If you meet someone named Rose, picture a rose in your mind. Or if you need to remember that your appointment is on Wednesday, imagine yourself walking into that office with a big Wednesday sign hanging over the door. These little mental tricks make a huge difference, and they work at any age. Another simple shift: slow down. When you give your brain space, just a few extra seconds to take in information, you give your memory a better shot at locking it in. There's no rush. You've earned the right to take your time. Now, let's talk about another myth. This one is especially frustrating because it keeps a lot of wonderful, capable people from getting the help they need. It's the idea that only people with Alzheimer's or dementia struggle with memory loss. And if you don't have a diagnosis, then you're fine. And there's no reason to check in with your doctor. But that's not how it works. The truth is, memory loss happens on a spectrum. There's a lot of space between totally fine and serious condition. And sometimes small changes in memory or behavior are early signs of something that could be treated or managed if it's caught in time. For example, did you know that vitamin B12 deficiency can cause memory problems? Or that certain medications, dehydration, thyroid issues, or even sleep apnea can mess with your focus and recall? These things don't mean you have dementia. They mean something in your body needs attention. And the sooner you check in with a healthcare provider, the better chance you have of getting back on track. Unfortunately, many people wait too long. They don't want to make a fuss or be dramatic. But you are not being dramatic by taking care of yourself. You're being smart. You're being proactive. Think of it like your car. If a warning light comes on, you don't wait until smoke is pouring out of the hood before checking under it. You take it in early, fix the issue, and avoid a bigger problem down the road. The same applies to your brain, and this brings us to something I want you to really hold on to. Memory issues don't always mean something terrible. They're signals. And sometimes those signals are just telling you to slow down, eat better, drink more water, get more sleep, or check your meds. It's not about fear. It's about awareness. And awareness is power. Let me tell you about a gentleman I spoke with recently. Let's call him Frank. Frank is 72, sharp as a tack, but he started noticing that he was forgetting small things more often than he used to. He chalked it up to age, told himself it was normal, and carried on. But over time, it started to bother him. He got frustrated, snapped at his wife more often, and started avoiding conversations where he might forget a name or lose track of what he was saying. Finally, at his daughter's urging, Frank went to his doctor. Turned out he was on a medication for blood pressure that had a known side effect of memory problems. His dosage was adjusted, and just like that, things started improving. He felt sharper, more confident. He even started leading a weekly trivia night at his community center. And it all started because he didn't ignore the signs. He listened to his brain. Let's keep going. By now, we've peeled back some of the biggest misunderstandings about memory loss. We've talked about how it's not inevitable, how your brain can improve with the right care, and how forgetting things doesn't automatically mean you're slipping away. But there's one more myth I want to bring up, and it's one that often gets passed around in quiet whispers, sometimes even as a joke, like it's just part of the deal. It's the idea that once memory problems start, you should stop trying new things, that it's better to play it safe. Stick to what you know, keep your routine simple, avoid new challenges, because trying something new might just prove you can't remember anymore. But the truth is, doing that is like telling a flower not to bloom because it might wilt. It's not protecting you, it's stunting you. Now, I know trying new things can feel intimidating, especially when the memory isn't as sharp as it once was, but your brain craves novelty. It wakes up when it encounters new situations. It lights up when you learn something, even something small. You don't have to start mountain climbing or take up the violin unless you want to. But you can do things like learn a new card game, try a new recipe, take a dance class, or explore a new part of your neighborhood on foot. When you try something new, you stretch your mind. You build new neural pathways. And those pathways help strengthen not only your memory, but your overall mental agility. It's like walking a new trail in the woods. The more often you take it, the clearer and easier it becomes. You don't forget your way, you make your way. There's a woman I once met. Let's call her Grace. She was 79 when she joined a local painting class, even though she'd never painted before. She told me she almost didn't sign up because she was afraid she'd forget the instructions or mess up her work. But do you know what happened? Not only did she not forget, she flourished. Her paintings got better and better, but more than that, she felt more confident. She started remembering names, details, and even phone numbers better. Why? Because her brain was being challenged in a joyful, low-pressure way. And joy is just as important to memory as exercise or food. And that brings me to one more important thing. Your emotional health plays a huge role in how well your memory works. If you're feeling down, lonely, anxious, or overwhelmed, your brain has a much harder time focusing and retaining information. That's not a weakness. It's just how the brain works. So if you've been feeling blue or withdrawn lately, please don't ignore it. Reach out to someone. Talk to a friend. Join a group. Go for a walk with a neighbor. These small connections do wonders for your memory and your heart. Your brain thrives in a positive emotional environment. Laughter, music, conversation, these things are not just nice to have. They're essential. Think about how easily you can remember the lyrics of a song you loved when you were 20, or the name of someone who made you laugh till your sides hurt. Memory is not just about function, it's about feeling. And when you bring joy and connection into your daily life, your brain holds on to those moments more easily. Now, as we come to the end of this conversation, I want you to take a deep breath with me. Go ahead, in and out. And I want you to hear this loud and clear. There is nothing broken about you. You are not too old, too late, or past your prime. You're living proof of resilience. You faced decades of challenges, changes, and chances, and you're still here, still learning, still growing. Memory might change. Your body might move differently than it used to, but your value, your wisdom, your capacity to improve, those things don't fade, they evolve. So let's just take a moment to reflect on what we've uncovered together. We've seen that memory loss isn't just an automatic part of aging, that serious memory problems should be taken seriously, but also that many causes are treatable and reversible. We've talked about how memory improves when you challenge it, nourish it, and treat it with compassion. And we've learned that new experiences, joyful activities, and emotional well-being are just as vital as any supplement or brain game. But above all, I hope you walk away from this with one message ringing in your heart. You are not helpless. Far from it. You have more power than you realize. And every step you take toward caring for your mind, whether that's calling a friend, reading a book, walking in nature, or learning something new, is a step toward a brighter, clearer, and more confident version of you. So don't let fear guide your future. Let curiosity do that. Let courage do that. Let love for yourself and for your life be the thing that moves you forward. And now, if this message has touched you, helped you, or reminded you of your own strength, I'd love for you to share your thoughts in the comments below.